Welcome back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Burkle, here with the coach today, Aaron and Joe. Go ahead and say hi, guys.
Hi.
All right, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be taking a look at the most recent running back free agent frenzy. Running back signing left and right, some with their team's arch rivals, and some teaming up with another great quarterback in Baltimore. So plus a couple other
You're looking
guys,
for those hate comments, aren't you?
plus a couple other guys, signing with some teams up in the NFC North. And then one guy getting traded, a lot of news. I'll just kind of run through the list real quick. We got Derrick Henry signing with the Baltimore Ravens. That's probably the biggest one of the day. 2-year deal for him. Saquon Barkley, probably the second biggest deal of the day. Moving down, little south, staying in the Northeast though. Going from the New York Giants to his arch rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. And even Micah Parsons had something to say about that on Twitter, calling it sickening, quote unquote. Some other big names. We got Aaron Jones getting released by the Packers and then signing with the Vikings. So a little bit of a middle finger to Green Bay on his way out, I feel like. Pulling a little bit of a Brett Favre, you might say. Replacing him in Green Bay, however, is Oakland Raiders running back Josh Jacobs, signing up there with the Pack to hopefully, kind of relieve Jordan Love a little bit out of the backfield. Joe Mixon being traded from the Cincinnati Bengals down south to the Houston Texans, all in order to make room for the Bengals, in order for them to sign Zach Moss away from Indianapolis. See, we got DeAndre Swift signing with the Bears, leaving Philadelphia after, or actually right before, technically, Saquon Barkley signed there. And I think that basically does it. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Aaron, what are kind of your thoughts on these running backs around the league? Maybe not getting paid per se, but at least finding jobs on new teams. A lot of movement in the backfield this offseason. I can't hear
Season
you.
for running backs. I
Okay.
don't think we usually see a lot of this movement. Especially kind of after last year with the whole them feeling like they were undervalued situation, and then leading to kind of Jonathan Taylor sitting out, and um, Austin Eckler wasn't necessarily happy with the contract he got. Obviously, he moves on to the Commanders. Um,
Right.
I'm kind of interested in seeing how Nyheim Hines works out with the Browns.
Hmm.
He was real dynamic with the Colts, and then never really got a shot with Buffalo. Um, and then the Browns now picking him up, having having him replace Kareem Hunt, who I'm assuming they're gonna let go and
Probably.
not re-sign. I believe he's a free agent.
Yeah, I think he signed a one
So
year deal.
that will be a kind of stark contrast, because Kareem Hunt and Chubb, they're very
Same
similar
thing.
players, kind of bruisers. Naheem Hines, he's a little bit more dynamic, really good at catching the ball out of the backfield, can even line him up outside. So I think that's a really good acquisition for him.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting, underrated, under the radar signing that I didn't even realize happened. To be honest with you, it doesn't even show up on this list, so it must be pretty recent, I'd imagine. Um, Joe, what do you kind of feel like's the biggest running back free agent signing so far in this period? I think I've got a good feeling about which one you're going to pick, actually.
The funniest one to me is why I'm picking is the biggest is just Saquon going across the division.
Okay.
That's one of the funnier ones to me. Like you don't see it often, but like not only did you go in stay in the division, but like obviously you went to a better team too.
Mm,
Like so just I mean as a Cowboys fan that would be terrible to see because now obviously your biggest rival is getting better. Um, I saw some jokes saying Jason Kelsey is probably waiting to just pick up his phone and change his mind after getting Saquon too. But I think the Derrick Henry one I think is a lot bigger deal than people think. The what Baltimore runs the ball like San Francisco does,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of it, they have probably one of the most freakish athletes in Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Have to worry about with Derrick Henry, like that is gonna be terrible. You're selling out all day to stop Derrick Henry from running up the middle, and then you have to try to somehow chase down Lamar. So like as a Steelers fan, I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. Then you add the guys like Zay Flowers on the outside with that speed. Like there's a lot going on that offense that could be real scary.
Yeah, you threw me for a loop there for a second because you started with Saquon and then you did get to eventually where I thought you were going with the Derrick Henry analysis. So awesome to hear that because I already had something prepared for the Saquon discussion, and I was not prepared to talk about Derrick Henry. So thanks for taking that weight off my shoulders. Um, but with the Saquon situation, it's interesting. Um, while I don't necessarily think it's the most important. I do think the Derrick Henry move is probably the biggest as far as like going to be a contributor, a big contributor, and could be a potential game changer. Because I think the reason the Ravens lost the playoff game against the Chiefs last year is because for whatever reason they stopped running the ball. If you have Derrick Henry in your backfield, you're not going to stop running the ball. I don't care how many times he gets stuck behind the line of scrimmage. We saw that with the Tennessee Titans. He might get stuck behind the line of scrimmage, 15 straight carries in the first half, but in the second half he's going to break off a couple for 20 plus. So I think he's going to end up being the biggest signing this offseason as far as the running backs go. I do think the Saquon contract is interesting um, because obviously he's been asking for a big deal for a couple years now from New York. So I think a little of this was to kind of spur the Giants a little bit to kind of piss them off for not paying him what he felt like he was worth. But I think it's probably gonna bite the Eagles in the ass. I think this is a bad move on their part, spending a bunch of money on a running back when they could have easily addressed that in the draft if they wanted to, or maybe go out and get a younger guy, or not a younger guy, a cheaper guy. Sorry, um, a guy that doesn't cost as much against the cap, because your biggest weakness last year wasn't your running game; it was your secondary. And all you've done this offseason with that secondary is drop arguably your best cornerback. So I definitely think that money could have been served elsewhere on the secondary for that Eagles defense. I think they addressed the wrong concern. I do think they wanted to improve maybe DeAndre Swift a little bit. Um, but I don't think they should have basically put their entire stock into, you know, Saquon Barkley. And I guess they're going to be an offensive minded team going forward because that defense is just not going to look like it's going to hold up. So, Aaron, what are kind of your thoughts on? I know one guy we haven't talked about yet is Josh Jacobs heading up to Green Bay from Las Vegas. I think I said Oakland earlier. Um, what are kind of your thoughts on them deciding to go with Josh Jacobs and letting Aaron Jones go? Do you think a lot of it had to do with just the fact they couldn't come to a long term deal with Jones?
Um, yeah, I think they wanted him to take too much of a pay cut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, he's an older guy. He showed last year at the end of the year when he was healthy. He really showed out. Um, Whether or not he can still play a full season at that level, that kind of remains to be seen. So they went and they got Josh Jacobs, who's really kind of been the workhorse for the Raiders for the last couple of years. Glad, thank God he's out of the division.
Yeah,
He
for
always
real.
causes some problems. Um, so they did what the Packers did what they always do. They get rid of a player probably a few years early,
Mm-hmm.
and replace him. And Jones goes to a division rival in the Vikings. So that should be some fun matchups again this coming year.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Joe, on Aaron Jones basically pulling a Brett Favre and heading over to Minnesota? Do you think there was a little bit of spite behind that move?
I don't know about spite. Not necessarily. I don't know if it ended as on bad of terms, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. Why not go from you have like a young developing offense? Why not go to a team that has Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison at wideout
And
and T.J.
Sam Darnold.
Hawkinson at tight end, and Sam Darnold could flip it out the backfield at least to Aaron
Hey,
Jones. Like,
he can hand the ball off with the best of them.
He could do that. He could do that.
I was gonna mention all the
Get-
names, but him. I was even thinking going left tackle to right tackle if he wanted to.
Hey, Sam Darnold's good as long as he's not seeing ghosts out there.
Hey, yeah. He's good at handing it off to
He
Christian
just
McCaffrey.
he needs the dome, He needs the dome.
Just hopefully he doesn't get mono.
I mean, other than that, like Aaron Jones, I think, I guess you can say it's a little out of spite, but when you just go look at the situation for him, probably trying to maybe prolong his career or finish this year and go get another contract, like this might be a good move where he doesn't have to touch the ball 300 times just for their offense to be as good as it can be.
True. Yeah, Justin Jefferson's probably the best receiver he's ever played next to, and that's saying a lot because Devontae Adams was his teammate for a long time. So, and I'm not saying that any dirt on Devontae Adams' name or anything like that. Justin Jefferson's just that good, in my opinion. So, yeah, unless y'all got anything else.
Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold, they're real comparable.
Yeah,
Same tier.
I didn't say the quarterbacks.
Those duos, man, those are some
Hey,
historic
they both played in the
combos.
Pac-12. They both played in the Pac-12. Okay. So
Right on.
both
Let's go, Sam.
both from California.
Rooting for you, man.
Both from California. Both played in the Pac-12. Whole lot of similarities right there. Aaron Rodgers' career didn't get off to no ho-hum start either, buddy. He wasn't even a starter. Wasn't even a starter.
Go ahead, Burke's already starting the Sam Darnold train. Let's go.
Yeah, Daniel
He's
Jones
gonna be
might.
Let's go.
slaughterhouse
off
Let's
next
go.
season. I can
Off
already
the
feel it.
Daniel Jones, on the Sam Darnold, baby.
I'm
All
hopping on
aboard.
this one. I'm hopping on this
Choo, motherfucker. All right. Unless y'all got
I'm already
anything
tired
else,
of it.
I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Circlemark Burkle, here on the coast today. Aaron and Joe, go and say bye, guys.
Go see
Bye.
Ghost.
All right, go Pack Go, and make sure to like and subscribe. Deuces.